जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, असुरनंदन यद जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, रावणकारी, यमुना रावणकारी, राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की, श्री श्री गौर निताई की, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सोदर महारानी की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, समावेत गौर भक्त वृंद की, कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुः उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. So this is the topic for today: increasing surrender and decreasing whimsical nature and behavior. So let us start with one auspicious not connecting. Here it's showing duplicate here. No? Okay. See, one of the most famous whimsical characters of Bhagavatam and Mahabharata. Who is it? Yeah. What is the meaning of whimsical behavior? Doing something contrary to the scriptures, contrary to the will of God, contrary to the will of, the well-wishers of the society who are saintly persons. Acting independently based on the dictates of one's lower nature, especially the impure mind and impure senses. Ashwathama, what is he doing? Huh? Yeah. He is entering the tent of the Pandavas to kill the 5 Pandava children who are sleeping. Later on, Krishna will say how when somebody is sleeping, one should not attack a sleeping person. Suptam, balam, veratam, bhitam, prapannam. Like that. Nirayuda, many things he is saying. If somebody has no weapon to attack you back, then you can't attack them with a weapon. Or if somebody is sleeping, or somebody is crying, or somebody is falling at your feet begging for your grace and mercy and not, please don't kill me or whatever. Or somebody is running away. So none of these people are fit to be attacked, according to the Kshatriya codes. But here you find, and also if somebody is a child also, balam. Somebody is a small kid. His strength doesn't match your strength, and you can't attack that child. Correct, no? Here are small Pandava kids who are lying in the bed and they are sleeping also at night. And he is going with a sword and severing their heads. When Draupadi saw them all dead, so she is crying. So this is the first whimsical action he did. Who? Ashwathama. Then subsequently, Arjuna told Draupadi that I will bring his head now. You can put it under your feet and you can take a bath. Now here, Arjuna is chasing Ashwathama, Arjuna and Krishna. So at that time, what Ashwathama did, the second whimsical action he did. What is it? Sending a Brahmastra, because his horses became tired. So he sent a Brahmastra in the sky so that, let the whole universe be destroyed, but I should save myself. That was his idea. Because he doesn't care a fig about the universe. He's a selfish fellow. He only thinks about his own safety. protecting himself. He thought that let me distract Arjuna by sending this Brahmastra in the sky so that when he becomes preoccupied sorting out the universal problem that I create, meanwhile, what I will do? Huh? Huh? No, 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 no. That's not the answer. I will escape. He basically wants to escape here. He just wants to escape. They send the Brahmastra up in the sky. So somehow or other keep Arjuna busy so that he will not be able to capture me. I just want to escape, that's all. That is his idea. Ashwathama. Of course, Krishna taught Arjuna how to retract back the Brahmastra. Even the Krishna taught when two Brahmastras, they should not multiply. They should not have multiplied effect. They should have cancelling effect. Cancel, and he brought it back. So even the Devatas are worried about the situation of the universe. But through Arjuna, Krishna retracted it back. Now here, Ashwathama was captured, and then the pastime goes. Ashwathama was later on, Draupadi gave many reasons why Ashwathama should not be killed. Finally, Ashwathama was allowed to go, isn't it? Because of Draupadi's reasoning. He was allowed to, he was spared. See? His jewel was removed and he was allowed to go away from there. All his luster was gone. Now, after going away, did he keep quiet? He had a revengeful thought. So again, he attacked with another Brahmastra. Two Brahmastras he sent, one on the last child, Parikshit, the womb of Uttara. Another Brahmastra on the Pandavas, 5 Pandavas. So, of course, Krishna took his chakra and nullified the one which was sent on the Pandavas. The other one which was sent towards the Parikshit child, Krishna protected the child also. The point is, Ashwathama acted whimsically again and again. Repeatedly he acted. See, this is our struggle in the human life. What is it? On one hand, we want to surrender to Supreme Lord, but on the other hand, we have a tendency to be dragged by our whimsical desires. So conditioned nature leads to whimsical desires. And a purified nature leads to alignment with the will of the Lord. See, Arjuna initially said, I will not fight the battle. That's a whimsical desire. Then what you will do if you won't fight? I'll go and beg. Krishna says, that's your whimsical desire. Because you are not supposed to be begging. You are a Kshatriya, supposed to be fighting. You say you're going to be begging, that will not work. But Arjuna wasn't convinced, so Krishna pacified him by teaching him Bhagavad Gita. Finally, Arjuna said, Karishye Vachana. Then he aligned with Krishna's will. He gave up his whimsical desire. So this verse talks about how we can increase our surrender. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami mashuchaha. See, to increase surrender, one must accept Krishna's will over personal whims and follow scriptural guidance. Otherwise, a whimsical mind leads to instability and suffering. Which means, anybody who has a whimsical tendency, here's a very simple solution. Accept Lord's will, follow the scriptural guidance, be aligned, don't act independently, check before you make any decision. Yeah. One has to be clear. So one should be guided. That's the whole point. In anything one does, one has to be guided. Now somebody may say, am I a child to be guided always? Yes, we are spiritually children only. Because the material world, the world is a very complex world. We may make wrong decisions. It's always better to check twice before we act. So that when later on we will not be admonished. Why you didn't check? See, Prabhupada says, acting without authority leads to failure. All of you repeat this. Yakshastra vidim utsrajya Vartate kamakaratah na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection in this world, nor happiness, nor the supreme destination, he says. That means you can't be happy in this world, you can't be happy in the next world. I don't know where you will be happy. You will never be happy at all by whimsical decision. So, if you act whimsically, we suffer, and also, Guru and Krishna will be displeased also with us. We enrage the great souls. And by such kinds of behavior, ultimately we bring about suffering and failure in our lives. Somebody may say, oh, I know this, but if we know it, then still why do we act like that? So that is the conditioned nature. See, opposite of the whimsical behavior is following the Guru. Famous verse, right? Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Prabhupada would quote this several times. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively, render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart the truth unto knowledge unto you, because he has seen the truth. So, Prabhupada in several lectures has spoken on this, because one should not try to speculate about the truth. Maybe this, maybe that, or might be this. Don't concoct anything. Hear in parampara and repeat in parampara. That's all we have to do. So, instead of whimsical actions, surrender to Guru and serve sincerely. Like yesterday, one devotee was asking me a question. Prabhu, in my voice, one boy is saying, no, I am more Brahminical. I like to chant more and read more. I cannot go out for preaching. And then that boy was quoting the Shastra. What is it? According to Shastra, a Brahmana means he's supposed to be more study of Shastra and reading and chanting. That's what I am doing. If you people are pushing me to go out and preach and bring boys, that means you are forcing me to act against my psychophysical nature, which the Shastras don't appreciate. Shastras say that the Guru's duty is to help a disciple, become fixed up in service based on his psychophysical nature, so that he can very nicely advance. So I told this devotee, see, okay, let him be a Brahmana, let one Kshatriya type of boy go to the hostel, and he can go with him. And the Kshatriya boy will organize and collect a group of 5-6 boys for MMC, and he can talk to them. It's like a Brahmana you speak. Is it not true? Or another Vaishya type boy, he can go gather some CSR. He can go for. Of course, he wants to gather some donation from people. Like when we were building the temple in Pune, I was not eager to go and raise funds, but I went to the donors' houses and I spoke on Gajendra Moksha and all this Jamil Upakyan. I would speak. And not just for the family alone, just about 8-10 members of the family, they would sit and hear. And many of them gave 1.5 CR, 1.3 CR they gave. So you may not collect funds, but you can give classes to the donors, correct? No? So in this way, a boy who may be Brahminical, he can align with the will of the superiors by finding out ways and means how to engage my nature in the service and not just oppose. So this boy doesn't want to go out and give talks to donors, or he doesn't want to give talks to the other boys in the college. He says, my nature is Brahmana, I like to study and chant, and you go and see what he's doing, he's sleeping in the room. That is his nature, Swabhav. His conditioned nature is to just go to sleep, that's all. He will not do indoor service, he will not do outdoor service. Whimsical. Simply whimsical fellow. So you can understand this type of whimsical nature will lead you nowhere. You'll certainly get there. Where? Nowhere. That's what he's saying, Krishna is saying. Asasiddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. On the other hand, you should put aside our life. Then I gave that fellow the example of Dasharati. Dasharati was a disciple of Ramanuja, a top-class Brahmana who was a very, very highly learned Visharada in the Shastras. He could speak at great length and depth anything from the Shastra. He was such a personality. But he happened to be a relative of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So when he became Ramanuja's disciple, Ramanuja was very concerned that because of his expertise, everybody is clapping hands and applauding him and praising him. He should not become very proud. He is a very young preacher. So he was thinking I should give him some seva. One day, Ramanuja's guru is Mahapurna. Mahapurna's daughter came to the Srirangam. So that time she met Sripad Ramanujacharya and said, my father told me to meet you because I am living in that remote village. I am married and I am living in that village. In our village, my mother-in-law is very, very forceful. She says, what is your difficulty in carrying these buckets and bringing water from the well far away? What is the difficulty in cooking? God has given you hands and legs. Why don't you do that? Like that she says. But then my problem is carrying so many buckets of water and bringing it. I get tired. When I come home, my head is reeling. And at the same time, I have to cook also. After I have to wash the pots also. I have to tend to the needs of my small baby also. With all these things, life is becoming very difficult for me. I went and told my father, it's becoming too much for me. My father said, approach Ramanuja and check with him if he has any disciple available to go and help you. As soon as she said that, Ramanuja said, oh, I have one disciple who can go with you. Then he called Dasharati and said, Dasharati, go with her and in her house you serve this Mata by cooking, cleaning, washing, bringing water. Whatever she is doing, you do that. That's all, that's the service he gave. And he was doing that. For a year or two, he was doing like that. One day it so happened that in that village, some speaker of Bhagavatam came and he was giving a talk in the evening time. Under the tree, a large number of people were sitting and hearing. So Dasharathi's cooking was over that day. So he thought, let me also go and join because he had a taste for, Shastric study. So he also went and attended the talk. But then he saw the speaker was speaking, something which was slightly deviating from the philosophy. So in the question answer time, Dasharathi raised a hand and said, sir, you said like this, I'm a little doubtful about that because I have heard the other thing. The speaker became very angry. He said, what? You are a cook in the kitchen? Go and display your talents in the kitchen. Don't argue in the class where, we are talking on a very scholarly subject which you may not be able to comprehend. And then he said, in case you know better than me, tell me what the truth is, you explain. And as soon as the mic was given to Dasharathi, immediately, Dasharathi started gada, 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 like a stream of, like a Ganga Pravah, he started speaking. And everybody looked around and said, hey, this cook is not a cook. Who is this fellow? This is Dasharathi. We were not aware that it's the same Dasharathi has come here as a cook. Then everybody lifted him up and applauded, and then they took him to Ramanuja and said, why are you engaging him in this kind of pot washing? The last couple of years he is doing this type of service. Ramanuja said, yes, I think the time period has come. He has done his menial service in a humble mood. So now I can engage him in preaching. After that, Ramanuja engaged him in preaching. The idea is, Dasharathi never said, according to my psychophysical nature, I am supposed to be a Brahmana, preacher. Why are you telling me to wash pots? Did he say that? He didn't say that. Actually, we should think always, Guru knows best. Krishna knows best. If they have given me the service, whether I like it or not, I should do the service. It's good for me. It will purify me. That's what Dasharathi thought in his mind. There are many people who are very hesitant to do something. Like one of the devotees from Bombay, he traveled abroad for his IT job. On Nityananda Triyodashi day, he just went to the temple, one of the temples. He wore dhoti kurta and tilak and went. And then they saw him and they said, they were supposed to have one senior devotee give the lecture. But that devotee got sick the day before Nityananda Triyodashi, the president of the temple. So he told, if somebody else is available, you keep. And next morning, nobody was available. There's a big crowd of devotees in the temple. So when they saw this boy and they asked him, "Hey, where are you from?" He said, "I am from Bombay. I go to Chapar temple," he said. "Oh, what's your name?" Actually, he was an initiated devotee also. "Oh, you're initiated. That's wonderful. Today in Nityananda, can you give the lecture?" They asked him. "Oh, that's not my nature. I am not a book distributor. I attend programs, I attend counseling program and all, but I don't give lecture." They said, "No, no, no. We don't have any speaker today. Whatever you can speak, you speak. Even 15, 20 minutes about Lord Nityananda. Something, speak." Is it all right? 15 minutes is all right? He said, "Yes." He sat on this thing, Yasasana, and started the kirtan. And he spoke almost 2 hours. So many pastimes of Lord Nityananda he spoke. Later on, they were wondering, it's time for Abhishek now. It's enough now, can you get down now? I had to tell him, so much he spoke. So later on, this devotee came back to Bombay and said, "I can't believe my eyes that I could speak like that." Because uh, although he was hesitant, uh, because ultimately it is Lord Chaitanya's order. Jare deko tare kaho, Krishna Upadesh. Amara ajna guru haya tare desh. So he made a small effort and then he got support from the Lord from within. So any service, like for example, our Hanuman and all the Vanaras are putting big boulders and making Setu Bandha. Is it the nature of a squirrel to go and make Setu Bandha? Can the squirrel at all make the Setu Bandha? Some people say the squirrel was just pushing some sand to fit within the two rocks, whatever will fit in. Some people say that. Some people say he was putting his tail in the water and then mixing it with the sand and putting some drops of sand powder. Some people say he was picking small rocks and fitting it between the small pieces of stone, fitting it between the rocks. But whatever it be, whatever this poor fellow was doing, the squirrel, who took notice of that? Lord Ram took notice of that. Lord Ram said, although it is beyond any capacity of the squirrel to make any Setu Bandha, what Lord Ram appreciated was not his service. What he appreciated was his endeavor for service. He made an effort to do some service because he thought everybody is engaged in Ram's service. What am I doing? I am a lazy bum. I am a small creature. I am too tiny and I have no capacity. He cried that I also want to be of some service. So let me jump with everybody and go around doing some little service at least. Like that. There was one old lady when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the home of Srivas Thakur. This old lady was bringing water in pots. So repeatedly she was going and bringing pots for washing the house. So Lord Chaitanya saw her and thought that the old lady, she's doing such hard work, such service she's doing. He asked her name. What's your name? She said, my name is Dukhi. So Lord Chaitanya said, today onwards your name will be Sukhi, he declared. And she actually became Sukhi. She, miserable lady became blissful lady after that, having obtained love of God. Why? Because she was making an effort to serve. Prabhupada gives another example of another very old lady in Radha Damodar temple when Prabhupada was staying in the quarters there. So morning Prabhupada would see that this old lady, frail body, her bones were visible and body was emaciated. She must be in her 80s, 84, 85 years old. She would bring a pitcher of water on her shoulder and her whole body will be trembling because of her old age, frail body. And she would bring and keep that pot in front of the sanctum sanctorum because the altar would be closed. Pujari will be inside dressing. There's nobody to see her bringing the water. Nobody is going to give her appreciation or praise or anything like that. She would just come and keep it and push off. And Prabhupada was noticing that. Prabhupada said, this lady definitely will go back home, back to Godhead. Why, even at that old age, she's not complaining that, how can anybody expect in my old age to bring some water like this? If am I a young girl, I am a 20 or 30-year-old girl that I can bring water every morning. I used to do that before. Now I cannot do it. I am very old. She didn't give excuses. She was making effort to render some service even at that old age. So ISKCON is an organization and a home simultaneously. So we all have to think, in what way am I contributing in this ISKCON society for the betterment of the world, for the betterment of the preaching of the mission of the Lord. I should not become a useless bum. I should do something by which, in my own small way, I can do it like a squirrel. I can do it like this old lady in Radha Damodar temple. You know, whatever we can. Okay, we may not be great heroes who are turning mountains in this society. We may not be influencing lakhs of people in our lives. But we can do in our own way. How difficult is that? Like you see, morning Harinam Sankirtan is going on. If somebody just goes with the Harinam, you are entering service. You don't have to do anything. If you say, I don't know how to play kartal, I don't know how to play mridanga, I don't know how to sing also. Okay, don't do anything. Just go with the Harinam. And then you are doing service. Is there any company, Infosys or Microsoft, who will allow you? You say, sir, I don't know how to do programming. I don't know, and I don't have any degree. And I somehow or other got job in a company, but I have no capacity to do anything. They will say, here is the door, push off. In the material world, you won't get any job if you have no talent or qualification. Whereas in our bhakti movement, all you need is little heart, spirit, that okay, I am ready to go with the Harinam Sankirtan. If you cannot distribute books, you don't know what to speak, you just put a book table and take care of the books, that's all. Somebody else will distribute the books. And if you don't know how to distribute books, carry the book bag for a boy. God has given you hands. You carry the book bag with him and he will distribute the books. And you just keep watching how is he distributing. One day you will also learn. So, we have to give up our lethargy. Krishna says, Bhagata Jwara, he says. Arjuna, give up your lethargy and stand up and fight. All you need is a spirit. That's the meaning of, surrender. Tadvidhi pranipatena. So instead of whimsical actions, surrender to Guru and serve sincerely. Vai dharma paramo daivam patanam tasya dehinaha shreyas navaptosya viparyayosya hatasmritaha. Acting against the principles of dharma leads one's spiritual downfall. Such a person achieves neither auspiciousness nor perfection, rather he is lost. If you act without Guru's instruction, we will spiritually fall, he says. I mean, whimsical preaching is dangerous. This is why dharma. So in the 7th canto, 15th chapter, there are 5 types of wrong type of dharmas are explained. There is a adharma. Adharma means breaking the laws of God, correct? No? Adharma. Then there is a paradharma means you do what somebody else is supposed to do. Paradharma bhayavaha, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. No? Arjuna was a Kshatriya, but he wanted to act like a Brahmana. So what did the Lord tell him? No, you act as a Kshatriya. Don't become a beggar. Don't do paradharma. Ekalavya was told by Dronacharya, hey, you are a Nishada and your nature is to be whimsical. If you learn archery, tomorrow you will misuse it for wrong purpose. Therefore, I don't want to teach you. Go home and do your profession which is natural for you. At the time, the Nishadas, they would never pay tax to the government. When the government tax collectors would go, they would throw pelt stones at them and drive them away. So Dronacharya thought, because they are not aligned with the government, and if he is taught archery, he is likely to misuse it. So he didn't teach him. Later on, one day, a dog was barking and its mouth was clipped by 7 arrows. And the dog was crying with great pain, bleeding in the mouth. So that time, when Dronacharya came to know, somebody came and told him. Dronacharya said, oh, this might be the work of some sinful wretch. Somebody like Ekalavya must have done it, he said, and it happened to be true. Ekalavya was the one who had sent arrows in the mouth of the dog. And then he called Ekalavya and said, hey, are you the one who did it? He said, yes, sir, he said. Then he asked him, you are not supposed to be doing archery. How are you doing it? He said, sir, I made your portrait. And from that I was learning, archery. I made you my guru. And I have been learning through that. Because you didn't accept me in your ashram, therefore I made your deity. And then I was worshipping it and I learned this. He said, oh, really? You consider me your guru? Then as a guru, I have the right to ask you dakshina. Give your thumb, he said. Then he cut his thumb and gave. And why did he ask him for the thumb? So that he will not misuse archery for unnecessarily torturing poor animals like a dog. Huh? So he took it away. But in India, many foolish people have an idea. They think, oh, Yakalavya, what Guru Bhakti? He gave his thumb. They say like that. How many of you heard this? Yeah, it's a bogus story, it is. Huh? Yeah, because you should read what Bhaksan Thakur has explained. Actually, he had to give the thumb because he claimed Dronacharya as his guru. And that guru actually took away the thumb so that he cannot act whimsically. He was saved from whimsical acting, and society was saved from his misuse of his power. Both ways. Therefore, his thumb was taken away. So, now that's why it's saying here that is paradharma. He was trying to do paradharma. Paradharma means what someone else is supposed to do, you try to do. Then you will get into problem. Like one boy, he was staying as a paying guest in one of the cities in the top. So he is working in an IT company, he can go and come. But in the house below, the owner was staying, and the owner's wife had a lot of grievances. That her husband sometimes slaps her and all that. So she came up, and then he told the boy that my husband is mistreating me. Please, tell me how I should act. I don't know. So he told her, don't worry. He started counseling her. And then she told him, he doesn't take me out. You take me to market. I want to buy this. I want to buy that. So he started taking her in the scooter. In this way, he was getting little close and guiding her. And over a period of time, they started getting intimate. Because he was an unmarried boy and she's a young married woman. They started getting closer. And because of that, and this boy became weak-minded. He was spending money more and more on her. 8 lakhs he spent, can you imagine? She has been asking for different things. He has been spending. One day the husband got suspicion in his wife's character that the fellow paying guest boy, he is getting closer to my wife. So he pretended to go to office, but he didn't. He returned back and then he came up. He saw that they both are intimately sitting and embracing and things like that. He saw, he immediately arranged the hoodlums to capture this boy and beat his hands and legs and break his bones. And the boy was admitted in the hospital with broken hands and broken legs for several months. I don't know how many more lakhs he spent for that one. We don't know. So what was the problem with this boy? Paradharma he did. He is not her husband, but he tried to treat her as if she is his wife. So he got into trouble. And therefore, we have to follow the ashrama dharma. When you are a brahmachari, be a brahmachari. When you are a grihastha, then you are allowed to accept a woman in hand and then take care of her like a husband, husband, wife can stay together. Then there is a vanaprastha and there is sannyas. If you are a brahmachari boy, can you do what a grihastha man is doing? Can you do that? Today, people are doing or not? What do you think? Acha, you're all very innocent, you don't know? You're looking as well. Oh, you don't know anything. The whole world is filled with illicit sex. A man crossing the, Lakshman Rekha given. And that is why paradharma. A boy is unmarried, but is acting as if he is the husband of some girl. And is roaming and doing all kinds of nonsense until be beaten up. Some people shoot also. People have died also because of that. So that is why don't act on a role in which you are not posted. Don't pretend. So there is adharma, there is paradharma, there is upadharma. Upadharma means like ahimsa is one of the upadharmas, like a branch of a tree of dharma. But Buddhists say, ahimsa paramo dharma, making the upadharma into the topmost dharma. For ISKCON devotee, within a month, ISKCON devotee will follow that ahimsa. They will not even touch any meat or any fish meat or eggs. And Buddhists propagated as if that's ultimate dharma, ahimsa. So people making upadharma as the topmost dharma, calling the branch of a tree as the ultimate dharma. That is also one type of irreligion. So there is a paradharma, upadharma, adharma, then there is a chaladharma. Chaladharma means not explaining the scriptures properly and speculating like the impersonless, interpreting, misinterpreting. Like for example, Dr. Radhakrishnan Prabhupada says, Manmana bhava mad bhakto, madhyaji mam namaskuru. When Krishna says, Radhakrishna says, actually, although this verse says that one should surrender to Krishna, my understanding is that you don't have to actually surrender to Krishna. You can surrender to some unborn within Krishna who is like some impersonal light or something. Prabhupada said, where does Krishna say that? That is your speculation, coming from your own 200 gram of grey matter. You are speculating about it. Don't speculate. Prabhupada used to be very angry with this. You hear many of his lectures. Some people will become upset with Prabhupada for being so heavy. But why Prabhupada is heavy, you will understand. If somebody calls bad name to your mother and father, will you tolerate? How many of you will not tolerate? If somebody, correct, no? For people like Prabhupada, Krishna, Radha and Krishna, his life and soul. If somebody is talking ill of them, he cannot tolerate. We people don't feel that because we don't feel the connection to God. That's not, that's our problem, correct, no? But you feel connection to your mother and father. Somebody gives gali to your mother and father, you cannot tolerate. Similarly, Prabhupada cannot tolerate if somebody talks ill of Krishna, isn't it? So he says, don't misinterpret. Repeat in the Guru Parampara. If you misinterpret, you will fall down. Don't concoct or speculate. In this way, there are different type of whimsical dharmas. Okay, let us understand the whimsical behavior. Whimsical behavior arises when one ignores shastric injunctions and acts impulsively. Impulsively means passionately, without thinking twice. Like, what are the causes of whimsical nature? Lack of faith in Krishna's plan and Guru's instructions. Impulsiveness and emotional instability. Associating with materialistic people. And over-reliance on personal judgment without spiritual guidance. You see, when you associate with materialistic people, they will increase greed in you. Many of you are going to company, you will see that by Jana Sangha, you get laulyam. By Jana Sangha means associating with materialistic people. For materialistic people, what is the goal of life? Money, money, money. Money is honey. That's one of the first goal. After that, sex life. Money and sex. Hiranya and Kashipu. That's the goal of materialistic people. They don't know anything beyond that. Eat, drink, and be merry. And then what do? Make more money, go abroad, expand your family, and one day die. Where do you go? I don't know. That's materialistic people. They die like cats and dogs. They have no goal of life. They are only human. They are called a human being only in the external appearance. Otherwise, they can be called as a two-legged animal. According to Shastra, Vipada Pashu, they are called. There is a Chatushpada Pashu, which you have seen. What are the examples of Chatushpada Pashu? Cow, horse, dog. And Dvipada Pashu is a materialistic human. Called as a Dvipada Pashu, two-legged animal. Shastras say that. So, such people, they, if you are going to associate with them, they will induce greed in your heart. They will say that unless you have a very big package, very big salary, unless you go high in the corporate ladder, unless you travel all across the globe, unless you increase your own reputation, fame, life is useless. And that kind of greed they will create in you. So when Janasanga leads to laulyam, then that laulyam leads to prayas. Prayas means what? Hard work. Prayas means hard work. And that prayas, when you are doing, the goal of prayas is atyahara. Because your desire is to accumulate more and more than what you need. You are not satisfied with simple food, clothing, shelter. You have a desire to accumulate. Accumulate what? What accumulate? Like, for example, one may be able to live in a very simple house, but one wants a very palatial bungalow, like a villa. One can have a simple car, but one wants to have a big, costly foreign car. You can have a car which is 10, 20 lakhs, or you can have a car which is 1 or 2 CR, isn't it? So one develops a greed for having very opulent amenities, facilities to enjoy life. So one develops greed. One can wear simple clothes, but one wants branded clothes. In this way, the materialistic association will increase your greed So Janasanga leads to Laulyam, Laulyam leads to Prayas. By Prayas, you go for Tyahara. One more thing I forgot in between. When you meet Janasanga, materialistic people, what materialistic people will do with you is Prajalpa. And by that Prajalpa, they will increase your Laulyam. So by Laulyam they produce in you, then you do Prayas. And ultimately the goal of your Prayas is Atyahara. But then when you do Prayas, one more thing will happen. Niyamagraha will happen. That means you will ask Prabhuji, instead of chanting on beads, can I chant on counter? Prabhuji, instead of chanting in the morning, can I chant while going in the car? Anyway, traffic is very heavy. Inch by inch only I am going. I will also chant little, and go on chanting. Why? Because when you do Janasanga, the Laulyam is produced. You will minimize Krishna time and maximize Maya time. That's what you will do. That is why Janasanga to Laulyam, Laulyam to Niyamagraha, Janasanga to Prajalpa. Prajalpa leads to Laulyam. Once the Laulyam comes, Niyamagraha happens. And then once the Niyamagraha happens, then most of the time is utilized for prayas. Not for just Jivasya Tattva Jignasa, like he says, Kamasya Nandri Priti Labho Jivete Yavata. Labho Jivete Yavata means you just keep your body and soul together and spend rest of the time planning to go back to Godhead. But one will not do that. Rather, one will get dragged by prayas. And the prayas is ultimately for Atyahara. And in this way, Bhaktir, Shadbir Bhaktir, Vanashati, he says. And that is how life becomes a whimsical life. That's why he's saying here, associating with materialistic people. And another last point is saying, over-reliance on personal judgment without spiritual guidance. This personal judgment means, one doesn't consult authorities on, in this particular situation, what I should do. Is it proper? Is it not proper? Is it right? So one does not consult. One acts according to one's own whimsical judgment. And that can lead to problems. I'll show you some of the examples now. We will see. Like here you see Duryodhana and Arjuna. Duryodhana was a materialistic mindset he had. Arjuna had a spiritual mindset. So therefore, where did Arjuna stand when he came? At the lotus feet of Krishna. And Duryodhana was by his side because he didn't respect Krishna so much. Although he had heard from great sages Krishna is God, he didn't have that type of respect for him. He thought of Krishna to be one of the relatives. So he went and sat in the side because his business was just to get some, thing done by Krishna. So as soon as Krishna woke up from his bed, whom did he see first? He saw Arjuna. And then he turned around and then he saw Duryodhana also. And then Krishna understood, you both are my relatives and you both have come to take some help from me in the war. And then as you all know, Krishna said that either you can take the Narayani Yadusena, 10,000 people, or you can take me. So immediately Duryodhana was very, very eager to make the choice. Why was he too eager to make the choice immediately? Because he wanted Narayana Sena from a material calculation. And he was afraid that if Arjuna chooses that, then I'll be left with Krishna, who is going to be not even lifting any weapon. So he thought it's useless, Krishna, what will I do with him? He thought like that. He thought from a very materialistic point of view. But then when he wanted to make the choice, Lord Krishna told him, Duryodhana, wait a minute, let Arjuna make the choice. But Duryodhana said, but I came first, he said. I entered your palace first and behind me, Arjuna came. So one who came first, he should be given the first choice also. Like that he argued. Krishna said, it may be true that you entered my palace first, but I saw Arjuna first. Lord also argued back. I saw Arjuna first and then I saw you. Therefore, and also Arjuna is younger in age to you, he said. Let him be given the chance. Let him be given the chance. So, Duryodhana was waiting with bated breath what choice Arjuna is going to make. And Arjuna, without a moment's delay, he said, I want Krishna, you on my side. If Arjuna thought, one mentor is worth an entire army. Huh? It's like, would you like to have one lion or 1,000 sheep? Huh? So one lion is better. 1,000 sheep will run away if they see one lion. Huh? So he said one lion is good enough. Huh? I mean, one Krishna is enough for me. So Arjuna's mind is exactly aligned with Krishna. That is why Krishna Arjuna, the Jodi is very powerful. Parthasarathi is driving the chariot and Arjuna is winning the battle. Lord and the devotee, very powerful combination. But Duryodhana's mind always acted whimsically, independently. He always made independent plans to vanquish the Pandavas. Whether it be in Varanavat Lakshagraha, whether it be by poisoning Bhima, or by driving them to the forest in various different ways. Similarly, Ravana's arrogance, he foolishly brought the goddess of fortune, Sita, to Lanka. Even after Vibhishan's advice, Ravana was not ready to give back Sita to Rama. He rejected Rama's supremacy and ultimately was destroyed. You will see that. That's why we say Vinashakale. That Viparita Buddhi is whimsical plan making. That Viparita Buddhi. Who is this? This is Kaikeyi. So, influenced by mantra, she whimsically demanded Rama's exile, bringing great suffering. So, Kaikeyi was not like that before. She was a great lover of Rama. Similarly, Kaushalya also was very much fond of Bharat. So, the three ladies, they loved each other's children so dearly. There was no pakshapat or any kind of difference. My child, your child. It was not like that. But mantra induced her to become envious because mantra was thinking, I am a hunchbacked woman. Some people are teasing me now. Why? Because right now, I am Kaikeyi's servant maid. Tomorrow, if Kaushalya becomes the queen, then Kaushalya's servants will be given more respect. And I am whose servant? Kaikeyi. So nobody will look at me. On the contrary, they will tease me also for my hunchback. She thought like that. So my mistress, my master, she should be the queen. That was the concocted idea of whom? Mantra. It all started with mantra. Actually, amongst devotees also, sometimes devotees speculate. They concoct like that. One example I will tell you. In one temple, one department had two cars. Another department was wanting a car, but they didn't have a car. So there was a meeting held, temple management council meeting. So one of them suggested that, see, this department has two cars. They are using only one car. The other car came in donation, but they are not using it. Why don't we give this car to this department? So they asked the department that, Prabhu, can your department give this car to the other department? And the leader thought that, Prabhu, we may need it. May not immediately. Our load is slowly increasing. And maybe after 6 months, we may need this car. Therefore, we accepted the donation and kept. But if you say, give it, I can give it. But after 6 months, if I need it back, will they give it back? And then the president said, oh, that's all right. After 6 months, if you want, we can tell them to give you back. For the time being, you can give them to use. Maybe in the 6 months, they may get another car also, correct, no? And they may give you back your car. The meeting was over. So some another mantra type devotee, somebody, he saw that this happened in the meeting. So he went to the devotee. He said, Prabhuji, why did you give your car to that department? He asked. Prabhuji, we are not using also. It's idling, it will be rusting. Therefore he asked, therefore I gave it. Aapko dena nahi tha, Prabhuji. And then he said, no, he's saying they will give it back after 6 months. क्या आपको क्या पता प्रभु जी बड़ा बड़ा बात करते हैं लेकिन करेंगे नहीं. They will not give you back later. जब आपकी जरूरत पड़ता है तब ये लोग नहीं देंगे. He was telling. When you need it the most, you will not get it back. This is what they are saying superficially. Did they give you a written statement that they'll give back the car? He said, no, they didn't give written statement. वही बात है. That's why I'm telling. Like that So then he said, Prabhuji, then what to do now? Today morning only I agreed. He said, evening you can go and tell the president that हमारे लिए काम है कार का, इसलिए हम दे नहीं सकते. We cannot give. Like that you can tell, then they'll give you back. Like that he was telling. So this devotee was thinking, actually I don't have any work for the car. It's just idling and resting. What's wrong in sharing with other departments? They are going to use it very thoroughly. Huh? Then he went to the president and said, Prabhu, actually, I happily gave the car in the morning. But one devotee is telling like this. Huh? He is telling me to ask you back. But my mind says that don't ask back. What is the need for asking? Because I'm not going to use it. So, but I still thought I will reveal this to you. And later on, the president called that devotee. Huh? Said, hey, Prabhu, come here. As soon as he was called to the room, he got frightened. He said, "Kya baat hai, Prabhuji? Any problem, Prabhu?" Offered a big obeisances to the president and got up there. You told him not to give the car. Kuch nahi bola, Prabhuji. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I said you may need the car. One car is there, a second car may be needed, I asked him. That's all I said. I didn't say anything, he said. Then the president told him, see, don't go and twist the heads of people. Don't do this mantra work. Political. Don't become political devotee. Be a simple devotee. If you become political devotee, then you become whimsical. Mantra was political, she became whimsical. And she put whimsical attitude into the head of Kaikeyi. And whole Ayodhya was in gloom. All Ayodhya was just cried like anything. And Dasharatha died also. And Bharata became shattered, broken-hearted. And Lakshman, Sita, everybody became disturbed. Except Ram, everybody was disturbed. But Ram made no difference. Whether you make him the king or send him to forest, it's all the same for him. Because he's always in a mood of seva, service. But you can see that one mantra, her whimsical whimsical nature spoiled the whole show. You can see that. It made Kaikeyi send Ram far away. Instead of welcoming Ram into her life, she made Ram go far away. So, a proper example of rejecting whimsical thinking. When Prabhupada's disciples faced doubts about surrendering fully to Krishna, he gave a powerful example. A child may whimsically run away from the father's protection, but he will suffer. Similarly, if we run away from Krishna, we suffer. Prabhupada gives the example. Unlike whimsical people who chase temporary comforts, unlike whimsical people who always chase after temporary comforts, Prabhupada surrendered to Krishna's will, leaving India with just 40 rupees and no material support to fulfill his Guru's instruction. Correct, no? So you can see that how nicely Prabhupada aligned with his Guru's will. Even at that old age, many of us would have told Guru that it is impractical to make some devotees in America. Indian people are not becoming devotee. American, how will you make devotee? One may think like that. So, but Prabhupada never thought it's impossible because Guru has ordered, along with the order comes, along with the instruction comes strength and, inspiration also. So he took it up. So sometimes a small kid feels that, why mother and father are always catching my hand, If they let me go, the fair is so huge. I want to see what all are there in the fair. Sometimes the child snatches the hand away and then it runs here, there in the fair to see the different exhibits and displays and everything. And after seeing for a while, suddenly the child realizes, I am alone now. It's frightened. Because without the parents' company, the child can become frightened. That's our situation also in this world. We have turned away from Krishna and this world we are. That's what Prabhupada said. Whimsically you do something, we will end up in a mess. Yeah. So, now we were talking about whimsical nature. Now let us talk about surrender. Krishna says famous was what is it? Daivi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya me tam tarantite. Krishna is saying that, the material nature is insurmountable, very difficult to cross over on our own. Imagine if there is an ant inside my hand like this. I tightly has held it like this. It just cannot even budge 1 micromillimeter also. It just cannot move at all. But when I open it, the ant can come out. Correct, no? Sometimes you catch a mosquito like that. Any of you have experience? Now, once a mosquito is caught like this, can it come out on its own? You may say sometimes comes out from the finger side. But if you tightly hold in the middle, it cannot come out. Correct, no? Like that, the material nature is holding all the jivas by her grip. You cannot escape. But Krishna says, if you surrender to me, you can easily cross beyond it. So it's like somebody telling, hey, leave that mosquito. You go out of the window, leave it. Maybe it flies off. Immediately, correct? No? So Maya Devi will release her grip on us when she sees that we are surrendering to Krishna. Huh? The more we surrender. So here you can see her situation, Draupadi's situation was like that only. She was dragged into the Kaurava assembly and she actually looked towards the Kuru elders like Bhishma and all that. Bhishma, Drona, Vidura, Dhritarashtra and all, none of them helped. Then she turned to her husbands, they were all putting their head down. She understood now there is no help from any quarters. Huh? Finally, she tried to use her own strength with she was holding the sari with her hand, then with her teeth. Finally, she understood that it is beyond um, her capacity. Finally, she raised her arms and called out Krishna, as you see here. Huh? So that surrender brought uh, immediate help from Krishna. Mm. So this is Vibhishana surrender. Vibhishana surrender is very extraordinary because Vibhishan left his palace, left his post, left his reputation in Lanka as the brother of the king. Correct, no? Not a very easy thing. All the gold and silver and diamond, everything he left behind. Left behind everything with empty hands like a beggar. Uh, he came to Ram because he understood for the path of righteousness, I am ready to give up everything. Therefore, the path of righteousness sometimes may be painful also to do. So he was ready to do that. But Ram also accepted him. So, because he made that sacrifice, eventually he became Lanka Naresh, correct now? Subsequently, he gave up now 100 times more, everything came back to him by Lord Ram's grace afterwards. But you can see that he didn't act like whimsical Ravana. Ravana was whimsical, but Vibhishan didn't act whimsically. He acted exactly in alignment with Lord's will. Similarly, Prabhupada exactly aligned with his Guru's will. So let us go for some practical steps. Is it big enough for you? Yes. So, actually, what strengthens the mind is a Shastric study, Nam Jap, and Bhakta Sangha. Huh? Three things are given here. Why it doesn't start with association with devotees? Generally, we say ABCD. So this looks like a DBCA, DCBA or something like that. Why? There is a reason for that. Because nowadays, most youngsters, they don't go for association. They like to get a copy of Bhagavad Gita and read themselves. Correct now? They pick up a copy here, there, and they give a try. Let us read. That's why first daily Bhagavad reading is given. And once they read, they will understand. Once the faith in Krishna's instructions comes, then they'll agree to chant the holy names. So some people start chanting. And then that reduces mental restlessness. That is the main point. Actually, mental restlessness leads to the whimsical behavior. Then mind is agitated, mind is restless. Then it hops and jumps and makes whimsical decisions. Just like you are watching TV, people change 2 dozen channels within 15 minutes. You have seen that? It's like monkey. Mind is like jumping like a monkey. Their mindset is clearly visible. The way they jump in their remote control. They just don't sit and peacefully see one serial or something like that. So that's a whimsical mind. Whimsical mind has a tendency to get into trouble like that. Like once a monkey in the forest saw there was a tree wedge, a tree was cut and the woodcutter had put something like a saw in between like this. Cut tree was like this, the wedge was like this. He kept it like this. So that when he comes back, it will be easy for him to continue where he left like that. But this monkey was thinking, why this saw is kept here? He wanted to pull it. So when he pulled it out, so his tail got stuck in that. He was jumping up and down. Now he couldn't come out because once the wedge becomes like this, then he cannot come out. So actually, he did not have unnecessarily done that pulling away the saw. But there is a tendency in us to do something frivolous because of the whimsical mind. For example, in Yatra, sometimes we sit under a tree to hear a lecture. Some people will not just sit and hear lecture. What they will do? They will take some stones and make some arrangement, or they will take some sticks and break it. So anybody? You have seen that? Break into small pieces, correct? No, that means the hands want some frivolous activity. That's the tendency. Huh? So that is actually happening because of the agitated mind. Mind is not stable. Mind is not peaceful. And one wants to get distracted. One wants to do something else. Man is asking, should I continue? Hari Bol. They will say Hari Bol and they will go away. Then Hari Bol for whom? you know. So there are many people who roam around here, there. They don't sit and hear. Huh? That's because whimsical mind. Huh? Similarly, we are chanting the holy name. We should try our best to, as much as possible, sit and chant. But if you are feeling sleepy, then we can get up and walk. Because sleeping chanting is tamaguna. And walking chanting is rajaguna. And sitting and chanting without sleeping is sattaguna. Correct, no? So we should try which one? Sattaguna chanting is good. Because attention is possible when you don't shake the mind too much. Like, otherwise, why Krishna says, Shuchau deshe padishtapya stiram asanam atmanah na uchitam na atinicham chailajana kushotaram tatre kagram manakritva. He says, ekagrada. He says, make your mind one-pointed. If you don't shake your body so much, then the mind gets fixed. Then you can hear the name very nicely. Sometimes we shake in the beginning because mind is shaking, so body also is shaking. Then we also get up and walk. Because mind is like a pusher. It's pushing us to get up and walk here, there, look here and there. Some people while walking, chanting, they slowly see the notice board and they read everything in the notice board. And beadbag is also going on. What kind of chanting is that? You are not supposed to do anything else other than chanting when you are chanting. One point. Because if you chant with attention, tomorrow the whimsical nature will go away. That's what he's saying. It reduces mental restlessness. It makes your mind stable, one-pointed. If you sit with your book, 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, you can sit and you can finish the complete book. And you won't have any other distraction. One thing at a time means I have taken the book reading, I won't get distracted by anything else. Even if somebody comes and disturbs in between, you will talk for a couple of minutes and then again you will get back into the book. There are people who can turn out mountains of work with full concentration because the mental restlessness is not there. So the chanting of the holy name will help you in getting rid of the mental restlessness. Similarly, study of the Bhagavad Gita helps us to develop firm faith in Krishna's instructions in the Gita, which is very important. Because without firm faith, we are not going to take spiritual life seriously. Yeah. And when you associate with devotees, you can always consult them. And whether I am spiritually aligned or I am spiritually whimsical. Correct, no? By consulting devotees, it's very helpful. Similarly, now the first 3 are given us for strengthening the mind. These 3 are spiritual practice. But cultivating spiritual discipline on a practical level. So we have to follow the guidelines. If somebody says, I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, are you following Bhagavad Gita? That's very important. Somebody said, in 45 minutes, I can recite the whole Bhagavad Gita, somebody said. So he was telling, His Holiness S.B. Keshav Maharaj, he was telling, oh, in 40 minutes you can recite the whole Gita. Can you kindly practice 45 minutes what you learned? Bhagavad Gita, he asked you, at least for 45 minutes. Practice what you have learned by that. That's even more greater than reciting the whole Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Yeah. Can you live it? So we have to follow what we have, guidelines we have received. It's not enough to know. It's important to apply. Otherwise, knowing alone is not enough. How many of you know what are the good things that you should be doing in your life? You already know it? Yeah. How many of you feel that good number of them are still pending to apply? Correct, no? That's the whole point. Correct, no? Seek guidance from Guru and Vaishnavas before making decisions. This is a very simple instruction it is. Don't feel bad that, why, don't feel bad that if I consult again and again, will it be all right? One example I'll tell you. There was one devotee in Pune long before, many, many years before. In those days, Gaur Sundar Prabhu was in Pune. One devotee, senior devotee was there in Pune. Later on, he was sent to Vrindavan. So this devotee was with him. So he used to ask him, Prabhu, can I go to bathroom? He will ask. Prabhuji would say, you don't have to ask me for such small things, Prabhu. Then he would say, Prabhu, can I take breakfast prasad? Okay, Prabhu. Prabhuji, can I take lunch prasad? Okay, no problem. Then the Gautam told him that, you see, Prabhu, small things you don't have to ask. These are all things you can do yourself. One day, this Gautam was supposed to go for a program in the medical college. He used to go to the hostel for one room program where about 20-25 people used to attend. Gautam, as usual, went to the program. He parked his bike outside. When he went to the room, already program was going on. I was wondering, hey, who is conducting? Slowly he peeped and saw, one devotee was in white and white. Some grihastha devotee from outside somewhere. He had come from another city. He had come to Pune. So he was giving a lecture. And his junior was also sitting right in front of him. So he had only taken him for the program. So later on, Gautam returned back to the temple. I asked him, hey, you went to the program, why you came back? I asked him. He said, Prabhuji, somebody else is giving Prabhuji. I said, Achha, you don't know. So nobody told me, he said. Anyway, then the night, that junior came back. So Gautam asked him, hey, how did you take him for the program? Do you know him? He said, I don't know, Prabhuji. He said, then why did you take him? Prabhuji is a senior devotee from another temple. He came. He said, then I am supposed to go for the program. If you told that you want to take him, then we can discuss how we both can go together. We can share the dais or something like that. No, but you didn't tell me at all. Say, Prabhuji, you only told me why to ask small things. So I didn't ask. So when Gautam came back and told me, I laughed. Then I told him the story of the Paramartha Guru. Paramartha Guru. There was an Guruji who was going on a horse. And the disciple was also going in another horse. And a lot of luggages were there in the Guru's this thing also. So when both the horses were going, some luggage, from the behind it fell down. And then after 1 or 2 kilometers, Guru suddenly found that some luggage is missing. So I asked the disciple, hey, this part of the luggage is missing, what happened? And the disciple said, oh, that fell 2 kilometers ago only. You saw it? I saw it. But why you didn't pick up? Guruji, you never gave me instruction that I should pick up. If you told me, I would have picked it up. Guru said, such a silly thing, you don't know. Something is falling, you should pick up and give. Now let us go back. So they took a U-turn and went back and they picked up the luggage and put it back and they were going. Guru said, see, whether it is in my horse or in your horse, we are carrying all these important things. We are commuting from one place to another. If it falls, then you should pick up. You understand? Yes, sir. He understood, he said. So now they went another 2-3 kilometers. As the horses were going ahead, the horse passed stool. Immediately the disciple got down and picked up the stool in a plate and gave it to Guruji. Said, Guruji, I picked it up. He said, Guru turned around and saw nasty smelling stool of the horse. Horse dung. He said, why did you pick it up? He said, Guruji, you only told anything false I have to pick up. So I have given you. He said, don't even show me. Throw it aside. He said, what nonsense. Such a silly thing. You don't understand this. Go and wash your hands. Hands and legs, everything. You wash and come. So he washed and came. Guru said, you are such a silly disciple. You don't understand. So then the disciple started saying, Guruji, you tell me whatever you say, that only I'll pick up henceforth. Then the Guru said, see, this bag, these are all there. Similarly in your bag also. He wrote everything and gave. So he noted on everything. Now the horses went ahead little fastly. Cluck, 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 cluck. They started running. And suddenly the galloping of the horse caused the Guru to be overthrown and he fell off. Immediately the disciple saw the list. Whatever was there. Guru's name was not there in that. And he was also going ahead. Guru was shouting, hey, 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 he was shouting. Why are you going ahead? He said, he shouted, hey, my dear disciple, why are you not picking me up? I am falling on the ground. He said, sorry Guruji, your name is not there. You rascal, come here. He scolded him. So this is the example of a foolish disciple. Foolish disciple. So that is what he says here, that one should know how to apply the instructions properly in a way that will please the Guru. Correct? No? Could this disciple please his Guru? No. He acted foolishly. Yeah. So that's why follow the Bhagavata's guidelines instead of personal impulses. Uh, so personal impulse is very dangerous. What is this impulse? I'll tell you a little example. Once Brahmana saw a mongoose and he felt compassionate and he fed something to the mongoose. And the mongoose became attached to the Brahman. It came to his house and was living in the house. And the husband, wife, both of them would be giving something to eat. And the mongoose actually lived like a household, like we have this cat or dog and all we have. Like that was living. And they didn't mind it. It was going around the house. So one day, the Brahmana was out of station and the lady also had gone out somewhere to fetch water or something. And the baby was lying in the bed. And a snake was crawling, the floor towards the baby. It was going like this. The time the mongoose saw, the mongoose thought, my lord, if the child is bitten by this serpent, it will die. So even at the risk of his own life, the mongoose came forward and fought vehemently with the snake and bit him into pieces and killed the snake with great effort. Meanwhile, this lady came back with the water pitcher in her hand and she saw the mongoose mouth was like bloody because of biting the snake, and the snake was also bitten into pieces. And she immediately imagined, I think the mongoose has killed my child by biting. She imagined. Immediately she put the big pitcher of water on the top of the mongoose. She threw it like that, and the mongoose on the spot died. Uh, And then when she went in and saw the baby was safe, nothing wrong with the baby. So therefore it is said, haste is waste, it is said. That's an example of acting impulsively. We should not act impulsively. She didn't think. She could have done one small thing. Just go inside and see whether the baby is safe. Baby is safe. And then she could have used her good sense and understood, okay, I think the mongoose saved my baby from the snake bite, and by killing the snake, she would have understood. But she didn't apply her mind. She acted foolishly, whimsically, impulsively she acted. So one should not act hastily without thinking. Satoguna means think first and then act. Rajoguna means act and then regret. That's the difference. So seek guidance from Guru and Vaishnavas before making decisions. Otherwise, she could have called her husband and said, oh, this mongoose is having blood in the mouth. Don't keep this mongoose. Send him away or something. Instead of killing the mongoose, unfortunately. Accept life circumstances as Krishna's arrangement instead of reacting whimsically. Yeah. Sometimes in your life, say for example, you and your friend are living in the voice center. Your friend went and complained to the authorities that you are not coming for Mangalarti regularly. You are late and you are also not submitting Mahamantra also. Because he is in charge for morning program. So as soon as authorities call you and check with you, Prabhu, you are not coming for Mangalarti also and you are also not writing Mahamantra. Why? Then what will be the first question people ask? Who told you? Correct, na? Then say, the morning program in charge told me. And then Prabhuji, I think, is very envious of me. Envious? But is it true or not? It is true. You are not becoming. Then why do you say he is envious? Why can't he be a little compassionate to me, Prabhuji? Vaishnavas are supposed to be compassionate. Like that he may argue. Correct? No? Then he may say, Prabhuji, you have been compassionately given 3-4 months to grow to this stage now. Now you have come in quite some time. Now you are supposed to be serious. Then after the senior goes away, then he'll catch his friend. Hey, you always complain about me. The senior had such a good opinion about me. You spoiled my good image. So the best friend can become worst enemy. Correct, no? So here is the example of a life circumstance which came. So you may react. You may act reactively. We should respond or we should react? Respond means what? You can tell your friend, Prabhu, I know that you are my good friend. Sometimes I feel upset with you or angry with you because you are the in charge for this. Nevertheless, you are not doing anything wrong. You are ultimately doing it for my right, for my betterment only you are doing. So just accept it as Krishna's arrangement. Now I have to improve. Don't react foolishly, whimsically. And then controlling the senses. Follow regulated eating, sleeping activities. This keeps your head cool. You know, otherwise, if you sleep late and you got very less sleep, your head gets heated up. When head is heated up, you will unnecessarily become angry with others when you have not slept well. Prabhupada says that. Prabhupada said, if you sleep too much, you become lazy. If you sleep less, you become crazy. Prabhupada says. Either way you go, it's like a pendulum. So you want to be lazy or crazy? Which one? Neither of them. So that means you sleep properly, 6 hours. Similarly, eating also, if you eat very opulently, your senses become very strong. Then you become arrogant also. If you eat too much paneer, you become very attack. Too much protein you eat and you become very strong, and a strong, plumpy person also becomes very aggressive also. On Ekadashi day, you can't shout also if you want to shout. Because Ekadashi, you didn't eat well. Imagine you are fasting and you are drinking only water. Hey, come here, come here. Prabhu ji, kya aisa kyun kiya, Prabhu ji? You'll be speaking. Another day you ate very nicely. Hey, Prabhu ji, Hari bol. And shout. So when you eat too much, you can also shout more, correct, no? Your passion can increase. Therefore, he says, regulated eating, sleeping, and activities can keep your body and mind in sattva. Avoid impulsive desires by practicing detachment. What is this impulsive desires? Like, for example, uh, one example I'll tell you. Sometimes a boy and a girl connect on WhatsApp chat. He is a marriageable age. Nothing wrong if you want to marry at the age of 27 or 28. But these two guys are connecting on WhatsApp chat. She saw him and he saw her. He wanted to figure out more without bringing the parents inside. And these guys are chatting for 6 months. Gradually they get closer and closer. You come here, I'll talk to you. You come there, and then they even meet personally. They have a handshake and they go here, go there. And then by the time their minds and hearts enter into each other's minds and hearts, and they have made a plan that we want to marry, when they ask the parents, they say, no, 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 no. Their jati is lower, our jati is higher. Our relatives will not appreciate this. We belong to this, they belong to that. That time these two guys are realizing, my Lord, they want to marry, they cry, they get separated, and now they both are married to somebody else. Will their life be a happy life? No, because they whimsically connected. That's what he's saying. These are called impulsive desires. Okay, you have somebody in mind that you want to marry. You tell your parents that I'm thinking of somebody like this. What do you say? Parents will say, first you have to see the horoscope. If horoscope is not matching, sometimes a boy or a girl, they write mail to me saying, Prabhuji, so-and-so has Mangalik and my parents are not allowing me to marry. Can you suggest some parihar by which we can marry? Some people say, Prabhuji, our horoscope is not matching. But because we both are devotees, we hope and pray that we are beyond the navagrahas. We have transcended, we have become transcendental. So can we marry? So there are many, many letters which come like this. That's because these two guys have got close without the permission of parent. That's example of impulsive desire. Just see, impulsive desire. Impulsively making a plan, getting into complex, relationships. Very dangerous. Nowadays, very much happening nowadays. So in those days, in my college days and all, people would fear to connect with the opposite sex because they knew that it's a serious thing it is to get into that, because it's very easy, because you can read this 18.37, 18.38, these two verses in Bhagavad Gita. Purport you can read. Prabhupada says that from a distance, one is attracted to opposite sex, but when you come closer and you touch, you get into problem. Terrible problems. Pucho mat. You can get into terrible problems. If you read that 18.37, 38, Prabhupada says that in purport. From a distance, it's attractive. Like once Prabhupada was walking the ocean beach, one devotee said, Prabhupada, look at the ocean, how beautiful it is. Prabhupada said, yes, from a distance, he said. From a distance, it's beautiful. You go into the ocean, you are gone. It will rip you apart. Similarly, man-woman relationship without properly marrying in a sacred tie, it can be very deadly. It can be. It's actually misery producing for everybody. For the boy, for the girl, for his parents, her parents, the whole community. Everything will be disturbed. That's why don't go for impulsive desires. Another example of impulsive desires means making a decision when you are not in your good state of mind. Huh? That's another example. Hmm. Like, for example, say, let me give you another example. Uh, when you when you are talking to one of the friends, sometimes you adamantly make one decision, driven by false ego. Correct, na? You understand, na? Driven by false ego. For example, you know, you were asking one more gulab jamun, but that devotee said it is limited. Huh? So then you say, okay, I don't want this two also. Now you give it back. And the devotee says, no, Prabhuji, two is there for everybody, but you wanted a third one. Now itself you asked for a third one. I said, they told me not to give third one. No, I don't want two also. Give it back. And the Prabhuji said, but Prabhuji, can I keep it aside? At the end of the prasad, I can give it back if you want. आज खाने वाला नहीं हूँ, गुलाम नहीं चाहिए मुझे. You see, because he has become driven by false ego. Now what will happen? When he's eating prasad, he's saying everybody is enjoying gulab jamun. Here, this side, this side. And then mind is saying, I should not have denied it. At least I would have got two. Yeah. And then after everybody is finished, you slowly sneak into the kitchen like a pussy cat and ask the kitchen head, कुछ बचा है क्या गुलाब जामुन? Prabhuji, आपने मना कर दिया उनको. You said you are not going to take. Therefore, that we gave it away to somebody else. Given. It's all right. If it's not there, it's all right. But in case, only sugar syrup is there, Prabhuji. ठीक है, थोड़ा पी लेता. It happens or not, correct? No? So that means impulsively sometimes we deny certain things. So if you have a need, accept it. Why do you impulsively deny that? Correct, no? So don't be driven by false ego. When we are driven by false ego, we act whimsically. And then later on, create a very big scene. Impulsive desires. Practicing detachment. So impulsive actually means passionate desires. Passionately, we are driven by lust, driven by anger. I told you examples also for anger also. Driven by anger, driven by lust, driven by greed. Like for example, you are getting a job in a remote place where there are no devotees. Already you are a little weak in Krishna consciousness. And right now only our morning program is in doldrum. Not very strong. Some people come at 4:30, again they're missing at 5. They can come at 5:20. Again they are missing at 5:45. We don't know where they go and what they do. They will go for a small nap. Sometimes small nap becomes a big nap. So, and sometimes they're sitting in the class, sometimes not sitting in the class. Some people's mind creates a lot of trouble for them. Already a person is so weak-minded. Is it good for him to go for a job in a remote place where there are no devotees? Is it good? So by putting ourselves surrounded by devotees, they will protect us. Correct, no? They will take care of us. But you may think that, Prabhuji, that job pays me 5,000 rupees more. Yes, it may pay you more, but you will get lost in the Krishna consciousness. So practice some detachment. Okay, I am ready to forego that 5,000 rupees extra because here I am getting devotee association. So this is more important for me. Let me not impulsively choose a job which will take me away from devotees. One can think like that. You have to control the senses. And what are the rewards you get by surrendering to Krishna? You get peace, you get stability. Krishna says here, you see, Bhoktaram yajñatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatpamam shantim rachati. He says that a devotee who knows me as the ultimate beneficiary attains peace, he says. All of us are looking for peace of mind. Whimsical nature is gone, then naturally mind will become peaceful. Yeah, crocodile was biting Gajendra's leg for 1,000 years. But when he surrendered fully, then immediately he got the help of Lord Vishnu. So we have to surrender and get help. Hmm. We get the divine protection. See, Krishna says that. Hmm. To those who worship me with exclusive devotion, I carry what they like. What's that famous verse? Yogakshem ananyas chintayanto mam yejana pariyavasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam. I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So all these great souls like Ajendra, Prahalad, they all surrendered and attained peace, stability, protection. Uh, and Lord says, I give them the buddhi. He says, if you surrender to me, I will give you buddhi to come back to me. Dadami buddhi yogam tam, yenama piyantite. Like Narada was a simple Dasiputra. He faithfully did seva to the sadhus, Vaishnava sadhus, Bhaktivedantas. Then he got all the knowledge to become a Narada in the next life. So, surrender is strength. Whims are weakness. A surrendered soul is fearless, while whimsical people suffer anxiety. So, Prabhupada says here, you see, I came to America on my guru's order. If I had acted whimsically, there would be no ISKCON. Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, he says this. Prabhupada faithfully surrendered to guru's order. So great things happened. Yeah. So, some examples I have given here. See, here you see. Examples of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. From Lilamrita is taken. Whimsical behavior that Prabhupada corrected. One example here, you see what Prabhupada says. The whimsical Gurudas plan to buy a castle in France. Once Gurudas senior disciple decided on his own to purchase an expensive castle in France, believing it to be an idealist concept. He planned to finalize the deal without consulting Srila Prabhupada. When Prabhupada learned of this, he immediately stopped the plan and reprimanded Gurudas. He said, you are spending Krishna's money whimsically. We are not here to buy castles. We are here to preach Krishna consciousness. So no matter how grand a plan seems, devotees must act under a Guru and Krishna's guidance, not whimsically. One example I'll tell you. When we were searching for land in Pune also, somebody came up with an idea that between Pune and Mumbai there was a big hill. On the top of the hill there's a huge palace, and we can buy it. It's like 20 crores. Big palace with gardens and everything. And they were saying, Prabhu, it will be such an attractive place with such attractive gardens all around. A lot of people from both Bombay city and Pune will come to see. Because climbing up the hill is even more enjoyable for people. Trekking and all they will do and come. So everything is wonderful. Only thing is people will occasionally visit such places. Because you will climb up the hill, climb down and come from the city in your car, coming to outskirts. Will they come every week? No, so we didn't go for it. But somebody was insisting we should buy that or something like that. So our goal should not be forgotten. What's our goal? Preaching, making devotees. Simply sitting in a very beautiful castle, he said, a temple like some very nice, beautiful, what do you call it? Monument. We want them to practice Krishna consciousness and go back to Godhead, correct? No? So, therefore, nowadays, ISKCON people are realizing nowadays that we actually want to come more and more down to earth in the middle of the city. Be available for the people. You can have farm community, but first you cultivate people here and then you can take them to farm. But otherwise, if your temple is in farm, how much can you cultivate? Even in Govardhanako village, for example, many people come, they take part in everything and then they go away, and then after 3 months, 6 months, they will come. But the idea is, but Govardhanako village exists for a different purpose. To give people an alternative angle in life. Because they already have a beautiful temple in Grant Road downtown. Then there is also a temple in Juhu. There is also a temple in Thane. There's another temple in Mira Road. There is one temple in Kargar, all around. So therefore, having a farm is meaningful because people coming to the temples will also come to the farm. Otherwise, therefore, Prabhupada was not happy with this buying a castle in France. He said, don't waste the money. Teach, he said. Another example. Hamsadutta, a senior disciple, once thought he could act independently and made himself the central spiritual figure in his zone. He started giving unauthorized instructions without referring to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada corrected him. He said, corrected very firmly, you cannot whimsically become guru. You are not independent. Your only qualification is that you are following me. If you stop following, then what's your position? Prabhupada asked him. A true disciple does not act whimsically, he simply follows Guru's instructions. So you'll be very surprised. Sometimes somebody may be following some senior for many years, and people may be thinking that he is a perfect representative. He simply repeats what his senior has been saying. It may be Guru or it may be senior devotee also. And after some period of time, he develops a desire to become the center. I want to be at the center. Even Kirtanand Swami, at one period of time, Prabhupada wrote to all the VCs, don't follow what he says, because he is introducing new things. Like he said, let us introduce gown in ISKCON, like what church fathers wear. Like that. Prabhupada said, no, we should wear dhoti kurta only, Prabhupada said. So he is introducing speculative things which I have never told. He has become independent. Don't follow him. Very strongly Prabhupada said. Because in Guru Parampara, there has to be proper connectivity. And also nowadays what happens, some people become a little popular in the YouTube, and then they may think that, oh, now I don't need my senior anymore. I am very popular and so much following I have. And me and my followers, you'll be floating in some kind of joy. I have my followers. Then you think, why to give all my credit to my senior? People think because of him I am surviving. I can survive even without him also. One may think like that. And then one becomes whimsical. Asar, one will become by disconnecting. You know the story, once elephant from the heaven had come to one garden. So somebody went to the garden side and saw the elephant. Hey, where are you from? And the elephant said, I have come from heaven, but I'll be going back now. Can you also please take me to heaven? The elephant said, okay, you just have to catch my tail. Then when I'm flying back, you can come with me. So he caught hold of the tail. Then another family member came. They asked, oh, you are going to heaven, we will also come. So he said, okay, you catch my feet. Then I'll take you. And the whole village came to know. Everybody came. Now the elephant started slowly flying up. So all of them were catching each other's feet. And as the number of people became 200, 300, 500, about 1,000 people, the people below, they didn't know that why are we catching and where are we going. That they were not aware. Because in the long run it was flying, they were all flying up. So if everybody is catching, they also caught. They were not knowing. So they asked, one man asked his previous man, Hare, how are we flying? Who is taking us? Hum kidhar ja rahe hain? What is the matter? He said, you don't know. Yeah, elephant from heaven has come and it is taking us to heaven. We are all going. He said, really? I didn't see that. Then he asked how big it was. He said, itna bada tha. Like that he opened his hand. As soon as he said this big, what happened? Everyone fell down. And then others went up. So as soon as you disconnect from the parampara, that's all, we will be gone. That's the whole problem. So disconnectivity is dangerous. That's what Prabhupada said when Hamsadutta at one point. Of course, Hamsadutta Prabhu, and later on I met him in US when I went and all. He quickly corrected himself and he came back and he was properly practicing. But there were a few disciples who went little astray and they came back also. Prabhupada's very strong correction. They understood that we were trying to act over smart. It's not good. They understood that it's only because of a connection to Prabhupada we are getting so much respect. We are able to do so many good things. It's like a coal. Inside the fire can be red hot. But when the coal, it falls outside, it will become black. But when you put it back in fire. So our Shakti in spiritual life comes because of a connection to Guru and Prabhupada and all the Acharyas in Parampara. So we should not act whimsically. So whimsical dress code. Some ISKCON devotees in Hawaii started dressing casually without tilak and dhotis to blend in with the local culture. They thought this would make preaching easier. And then Prabhupada was very unhappy. He said, "We are not hippies. Why are you acting whimsically? Huh? Devotees must dress as Vaishnavas." You can, who is this? Um, in those days in Hawaii, there was once devotees were walking in the road, and suddenly devotees saw that two, three people, some boys and girls, they are wearing red tilak like this. Huh? And they offered obeisances. Although it was a rainy day, there was a mud also on the ground. Still they offered obeisances. And devotees were amazed. Hey, who are these people? They went and called them and asked them. They said, "We are all followers of Sai." They said, "Who is Sai?" "He's our boss, he's our leader. So please take us to your leader." So the leader had 50 youths under him. Huh? So, and amazingly, that leader was teaching from Prabhupada books. Huh? He had purchased Prabhupada books and he was teaching and making some devotees like that. Then they took him to Prabhupada, and then that fellow became Siddha Swarupananda Swami under Prabhupada. Then all his 50 followers became Prabhupada's followers later on. They all became. But then what happened? These people are very attached to him as their immediate leader. So he and one more was there, Gaur Sundar Das. So these two people were prominent preachers, and the people started making them like independent gurus. Instead of chanting Prabhupada's pranati, they made a pranati for these two people, and they were declaring them as guru, raising them and glorifying them. So they were acting independently. So that Siddha Swarupananda, what he would do, he would tell the people that let's go in yogi pants. Because if we go in yogi pants, people will feel at home with us. So I don't have to wear my sannyasi dress. Let us look like young boys and girls, just like anybody else. So we can easily preach and make people. So he started going and growing beard and keeping long hair and everything. So one such devotee Prabhupada called him and said, "Why are you again becoming hippie?" Prabhupada asked. He said, "Prabhupada, even Jesus had long flowing hair. Even Lord Chaitanya has long flowing hair. What's the problem in we keeping long hair?" Prabhupada said, "Who introduced you to Lord Chaitanya?" I said, "Prabhupada, you introduced." Prabhupada said, "See my hairstyle." So I keep shika. So you should also keep my hairstyle. Lord is a supreme enjoyer. He can have long flowing hair. He is Keshava. He has curly locks of hair. But we should shave up as Vaishnavas. He told him. Then he agreed to shave. So later on, once Prabhupada was in Mayapur, when Siddha Swarupananda came there, he wore dhoti kurta and then he offered obeisance to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was happy. Later on, Prabhupada told the devotees, although he's wearing yogi pants in my absence, in front of me at least he's wearing dhoti kurta at least. At least some surrender is showing at least. Prabhupada was happy. So, in this way, Prabhupada told the devotees, he told him also that you all should dress like a Vaishnava and you should wear tilak dhoti. Don't worry. Even Guru Das Prabhu, when he was sannyasi, he told Prabhupada, "Prabhupada, people see superficially to our dress, what type of dress we wear. Accordingly, they, will buy book or not." Prabhupada said, "Why do you bother about superficial people?" Prabhupada asked. Superficial people see superficially, but deep people will see you deeply. Like that he said. So, whimsical changing the books incident. Some disciples thought Prabhupada's books were too complex for the public, so they began editing and simplifying his words without his permission. Prabhupada was furious. You think you know better than your guru? You have no right to whimsically change what Krishna has given through me. So, like Prabhupada scolded them. Surrender means accepting the Acharya's words as they are and not whimsically altering them. Prabhupada once told TKG, Kamaksha Maharaj, he could start his own project independently in India, separate from ISKCON. He assumed it was a service to Prabhupada. Prabhupada called him back immediately and told him, "Do not, you are my disciple, stay within ISKCON, serve under my guidance." Even great preachers must remain connected to Guru. Like, for example, we have this voice, Vedic Voices for Inspiration, Culture, Education. It is running under the auspicious blessing of Prabhupada and his disciples, correct, no? It's a part of the temple. And what is our voice center? It is like an extension of the temple only, correct, no? So how many of you feel our voice activities are exactly similar to any ISKCON temple? Like mini ISKCON temple, correct, no? We don't do anything different. We do the same. Only thing is morning we start with japa, and then gradually do Mangalartana and everything. We have the classes and dhoti kurta, tilak, everything, whatever Prabhupada taught in ISKCON, we take the same thing. Prabhupada, that's what he said. Even if you start BI, Bhaktivedanta Institute, or you start anything, it should be under the banner of ISKCON and you don't act independently. So therefore Prabhupada, so in this way, so whimsical behavior leads to spiritual mistakes and obstacles. Prabhupada always corrected disciples with wisdom and love. See? Mhm. So surrender means following Guru's instruction without personal speculation. So it's getting late for all of you. Close to 9 now. We should conclude now. Shri Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. It was good. You could catch the point. Huh? So who are all Nakul batch in this? Nakul is there? No Nakul here. And are Arjun? Nakul basically who? Where is Saitija? Saitija, okay. You're all in second year now? No, they are all working only. All are